Well, good morning.
Wake up, buyer payer people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhoads on the Buy Here Pay Here Morning Show. Take it away, you two.
You know, it wouldn't be the morning show if we didn't have some technical difficulties. So it's just, it's like the thing that just happens. So I've been working off of Jim's laptop, not an Apple product. And it's I know, right? And so with mine, I have to click to go to the next thing. And I had my finger hovering and it stopped the Buy Here Pay Here Nation television thing because it is a lot more touchy.
So sorry.
Then
it worked out.
It did absolutely. Than my Apple product.
People tuning in. So
wait.
It's a Friday. Oh yeah. It's also, she's going with the hat. It's Cinco de Mayo. So hola y buenos dias to our Mexican American friends who are listening. We heard a new phrase. I hadn't heard Texican. There's Texicans. Thanks to Jonathan Hargy for that expression. So
Jonathan doesn't even live in Texas.
Jonathan Hargy.
Oh, Jonathan Hargy.
Yeah,
okay.
Hargy,
Yeah, that's right. I thought you were talking about a different.
World,
yeah, we
right?
do. We have a lot of Jonathans. Yeah.
So
yes.
It's all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it like messes the hair and everything. But can I say something about the sombrero?
Yeah, sure. I think you're going to.
I have two of these that have been traveling around with us from storage unit to storage unit during this whole thing. And as we were going through, because I bought them for Halloween or no, actually, I remember I bought it for a Friendsgiving that we did a Mexican theme. Okay. And so, wore a sombrero for Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving. And I've been carting these things around, and we were going through the garage because we brought everything from the storage units here, and Jim's like, do we need these? And I was like,
do we? No,
maybe. I just used them. Thank you.
Way is our thing. Like, why don't you have a sombrero blanco? Like, where's the white?
True. Yeah. Absolutely. Good morning, George. Good to see you. Big guest this morning. Absolutely. And Shelly, good morning to you. Happy Cinco de Mayo as well. Okay. So any announcements that we have besides the fact that it's Cinco de Mayo and that May the 4th be with you was yesterday?
Couple of quick ones. Next Friday, Bill Elizondo. Monday and Wednesday, we will be going back to the collections theme for May.
Doing 3 and 4.
I got to tell our listeners, next Friday will be basically, we had our first episode. So this will be our 1-year anniversary. We had our first episode on May 11th. And I know a lot of you are thinking, what is the traditional gift for podcasters on a 1-year anniversary? And it's cash. It's I looked it up. It's cash for podcasting. So that's how you observe an anniversary. So
I'll send everybody a link.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, that's it. We got Bill Elizondo also from NIADA next week. Looking forward to that. He's obviously very steeped in the realm of collection, so he's going to add to our conversation in that theme for May. So,
absolutely.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to bringing in our guest.
Let's do it. All right.
Here comes
Hello, Jim and Michelle.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
We are doing very well on this lovely Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
Yes, I do not have a sombrero. I wish I had thought about that on the front end.
Next year, I will remind you. Okay.
Well, I will tell you, Michelle, it never messes my hair up.
Look, we were talking this morning about benefits and drawbacks. That's a benefit, right? Right? That's a benefit. Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, we're happy to have you here, Jeff. It's the first chance we've had to really talk to you since you stepped into the CEO chair at the national level. Of course, you were kind of running a nation over in Texas. Texas is kind of a nation unto itself, I've heard. So, yeah.
That is well said. There are certainly some people in politics and outside of politics who would agree with you.
Yeah. Well, I lots of I think that they say that Texas actually has a really great GDP, and they can do all the stuff.
They say Texas, it's a whole other country. Right?
It is, yes.
Yep. So I lived there myself for 12 years, so I enjoy that about Texas. And you're obviously stepping out of one outstanding group of dealers and leadership in Texas into another. I was thinking today about what an incredible board that you've got at the national level. So many
Mhm.
great people over there, giving of themselves. And we also recognize that Buy Here, Pay Here is well represented in the
Yeah.
board. So just glad to have
Yeah.
that too. But yeah, somebody just share with us about kind of how this transition has been for you.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I mean, to your point, Jim, it's there are a lot of great people in this industry, and certainly those who step up and take on volunteer positions, whether it be with the NIADA board or committee members. At the end of the day, everybody is looking to try to improve the industry.
Yeah.
And people are finding ways to use their skill set and their talents to give back to the association or give back to the industry through the association.
Sure.
And it's been fantastic. I mean, certainly there's a lot to learn. There's some little nuances within NIADA that are probably a little different than some of the associations that I've been at in the past. But I look at all those as opportunities. I'm very excited. You had mentioned, certainly Buy Here, Pay Here has a very strong and stable voice inside the association. Retail is very well represented within this association as well. And we even have a number of dealers who are wholesale dealers.
Oh, wow.
But even outside of that, we have associate members who are a part of the ecosystem of this, used car business, and they're very important. I've just received numerous phone calls over the last month and a half with support and suggestions and ideas, and I just say keep them coming. I mean, that's really for us to build the association that the dealers and the associate members. What I would say is to build the association that they deserve. We're going to need that input, and I think for us, it's just imperative that we're listening to them.
Yeah, I would guess that as we were joining the show and kind of getting things teed up here, Jeff was taking some text messages. I'm going to guess you're seeing area codes that you're not familiar with now that they're at the national level. You're seeing phone calls come in from unfamiliar places.
Right. Yeah. When my phone pops up and it says, Colorado or Utah or Massachusetts, and it says valid number, I'm like, I guess I answer it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's fun.
I know that Jim has still got a Texas phone number too, so it doesn't necessarily mean that's where they're actually calling from, but that's
Well, I'll say this to that. I don't care where you are. If you're a dealer in the United States of America, you can pick the phone up and call me anytime. I'm certainly excited to represent your interests.
That's very good. We know you've always been responsive to our requests. We know you're a busy guy, and so we're thrilled that you were able to make time to talk today. I got to say, we want to give a mention, and I will surely have an opportunity in June to tell him myself, but what a wonderful tenure that Scott Allen has had as the president over there. And of course, we know the incoming president. We've known him for many years, and so excited to see Gordy Tormolen taking that chair. But just a moment to recognize Scott Allen and all the work that he's done. There are a lot of important things happened during his watch, so to speak.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He has been one active president for sure. So I don't know if you know or not, but so Scott was a president in Texas prior to becoming the president of NIADA. So I've had a lot of experience working with Scott. Just think the world of him. And Gordy's the same way. One of those individuals who just looks for opportunities to give back to the industry. They care about the industry so much. They certainly are very passionate. And one of the things that I love about Scott and Gordy both is they're always talking about the association, and that this whatever it is that we're doing, it really needs to be to enhance the association to help better serve our members. And it just shows kind of how selfless they are.
Absolutely. I got to tell a quick story on Gordy. Gordy says, and I've only known him as Gordy, like I first knew of him 20 years ago working with another company. And he says that if you call the office and ask for Gordon, then they think you're a telemarketer and you don't get to talk to him. So you kind of got to ask for Gordy if you want to talk to Gordy. So
I'll share just a quick story. So I've known Scott for many, many years. And, to me, it's one of the things that is so interesting in representing this, this group. So Scott really comes from the cattle industry. It's kind of when he grew up, kind of working in the stockyards there in Fort Worth. And if you ever go visit his dealership, you'll see, pictures and remnants of that time. Gordy, he's a car guy. Yeah. And there's really not a lot of car guys, believe it or not, that are in the business. A lot of them came from some other industry and kind of found their way into the business. But Gordy and his family have been in the car business forever. And so when you go visit with Gordy and you get to see the cars that are in his showroom, I was up there just last month. It's funny that you see two people that come from such different backgrounds and found their way to this industry, but are so similar. And really their similarity is in giving back to the industry.
They just have a desire to give. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. So we should talk about the conference. You got the conference coming up just around the corner.
It's
We're
a
just
month
weeks
away.
away. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do. Yeah. Very excited. Very excited about the conference. It's going to be in Las Vegas on June 19th through the 22nd at the Wynn hotels there.
Mhm.
And I'll say this, we're really excited about the education and the networking is kind of a given. You kind of expect that when you go to a conference. We're also going to have the FTC there and the CFPB as well as the IRS.
Really?
Yeah, and they're all
Wow.
three going to be putting. They're all three going to be doing sessions. And I tell dealers all the time, we're going to make a statement to those federal agencies.
Mhm.
Whether you show up or you don't show up, you're going to make a statement to them.
Yeah.
Showing up makes a much better statement than
It
not
does.
showing up. You
Absolutely.
have an
It does.
opportunity to come in and hear what these agencies are thinking about. Obviously, there are some new rules that are going to go into effect
Mhm.
on June 9th. Those I know were pushed back a little bit. But man, what a great opportunity to go in and not only hear what the FTC and the CFPB and the IRS, not only to hear what they're saying, but
Mhm.
also to have an opportunity to ask questions, but also, it sends a really important message to these federal agencies when they see the number of dealers who are actively involved in their association. It shows strength with your association, and I think it's imperative that people show up, if nothing else, just for that reason.
Yeah. And so I would say, Jeff, I'm kind of a broken record about these conferences. Like I wrote an article after the NABD 21, and which is now the BHPH Super Forum. But I wrote an article just kind of saying, this is what I feel like dealers missed by not being there. It's just kind of touched on the things you've touched on already. Obviously, the education, the networking. It's hard to measure that. But I got to say, as a former dealer, I started when I attended these conferences, I got to see and I got to meet a lot of people who were highly successful. And I also noticed that they were among the ones that were taking lots of notes, and they were on the front row in these sessions, these breakout sessions or whatever. So when you see that, you begin to draw a conclusion. I certainly did, to say, maybe some of their success comes from recognizing they don't know it all. There's more to learn. Get in there and keep learning, keep educating. Well, especially, gosh, right now in our buy here, pay here industry, lots of changes, lots of challenges to navigate. We think dealers are going to need to be well managed. We like the idea of them being customer centric. We think there's a huge opportunity coming for buy here, pay here, just in general, with the economy shifting like it is. So we just think it's important for dealers to get there, get educated, get all the way to
Yes.
stuff. And especially when you talk about all these compliance pieces, there's just
Yeah.
a ton of stuff to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I totally agree with you, Jim. And some of it, is it's a I think we're in a little bit of a tough spot here for buy here, pay here dealers, but I do think that there is a they're going to be in a very advantageous position in the near future.
Sure.
But, sometimes going to those conventions, it's about confidence, or maybe affirmation. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm kind of struggling in these areas, but you get an opportunity to go visit with someone else. And to your point, Jim, very successful dealers and even the, successful dealers in their own right, getting an opportunity to go talk to other successful dealers and say, yeah, that's something I'm kind of struggling with too.
Sure.
Which, a lot of times I know, like for me, when I go to conferences for my own professional growth, sometimes that affirmation kind of helps give me confidence. It's like, hey, it's not just me. There's a lot of people in that industry that are struggling with that thing, and we've got to figure that out together.
Yeah.
I do want to make one mention real quick, Jim, though. The one thing that I think is very unique about association conferences and other conferences, and I encourage people to attend, find the education that fits well for you and the networking that fits well for you, and attend that. But, one of the things that as an association, we're member owned and member governed. And, the member owned part is pretty easy. You just join your state association and you become a member of the state association. And then you become a member of the national association. But the member governance part is really where you have an opportunity. And it really gives you an opportunity to have a voice. Our primary responsibility as an association should be to always grow our influence so that when that time comes, we're in a position to be able to professionally and hopefully, effectively represent our industry.
Sure.
But but the governance part really starts at your convention. That's where we're going to elect officers for next year. You talked earlier about Gordy and Scott. There's going to be new officers that are going to be elected to the NIADA board. And we had mentioned earlier, having the FTC and the CFPB there. This helps you grow your voice as an association. Mm-hmm. So that governance piece is really important for associations to be successful. And I think that's what kind of sets the association conferences apart from some of the other conferences, is that governance piece.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
I've always, we've been super big advocates for join your state association, join your state association, join your state association. And, like you said, education, there's a lot of different ways, different places to find education. The national and state conferences is a great place. But there is one thing, like you said, that governance piece, and it's like there is only one voice on Capitol Hill. Only one voice on Capitol Hill. And so if anything, putting aside education, putting aside, the discounts you get from being a member, all of that stuff, just support the voice on Capitol Hill, because they're the ones that make your job harder or easier. That's
right. Yeah.
So
certainly can have a significant effect on your business, more so than a lot of other things. I mean, even though we struggle with supply chain and we're seeing interest rates go up, and those things certainly affect your business, but a new rule or regulation affects our businesses more than anything, and we've got to make sure that we're there and we're providing that voice. We talk about all the time building platforms that give dealers voices, and so I feel like joining the association is a part of it. And to your point, Michelle, being active in the association is certainly key as well. But we've got to make sure as an association, we're building those platforms that give dealers and members the opportunity to have a voice. I'll share with you, we're probably taking more NIADA staff to this year's convention than we've ever taken in the past. And part of that is a culture and a philosophy and a mentality that I want to have here at NIADA. And I'll tell you, while we're there, we're going to be working, but as importantly is we're going to be listening. And that's kind of what I've been talking with our team here about, is we've got to make sure that we're listening to those dealers, that we're listening to those associate members. They're the ones who should be ultimately guiding the association. Our job is kind of to manage the day-to-day operation here, but we've got to be listening to their wants, listening to their needs, listening to their, what affects them, so that we can effectively represent that voice.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm glad to have this opportunity today, because we talk to a lot of dealers weekly, and so I think one of the things I can share as a kind of a common sentiment I'm seeing across I was telling Michelle yesterday, I had meetings yesterday, Jeff, where I find myself reassuring dealers in buy here, pay here, and appropriately so. Like, I'm not giving them, false hope. I'm just saying, look, there is a lot of opportunity. There is a path. Yes, it's challenging right now. Cost of car and all these things are kind of working against us. So I think what I'm suggesting, what I'm seeing from them, is that I'd love to play a part, and we'd all love to work together to be able to put more information in the hands of buy here, pay here dealers, so they can make some difficult decisions. They're facing some tough financial decisions right now, and I just think having good information at their fingertips is really the first thing for me, is making sure they've got good data to decide based on. And so that's what I look forward to working with you and everybody at every level to figure out, how do we get more data in these hands of these folks so they can make better decisions.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jim. We have a lot of that data here at NIADA, and I think that what we have to do is find a way to make that data, gather more information for sure, but also to make that data available to our members, because you're right. Some of the most of our guys, they're going to make good decisions if they're given good information. If you're given bad information, the default there is that you're probably going to end up making bad decisions. So I'm excited about some of the programs that we're kind of talking about internally. I can't really discuss them just yet, but certainly some of that, getting that data out there, would be advantageous to our members. And I think it would really be a nice perk of membership.
Sure.
Yes,
well,
absolutely.
Let me say real quick, Jim, I'll make a little shameless plug here for our 20 groups, because that's a big part of what 20 groups do. They are sharing data with each other. Now, it's within their own group, but I'd like to see a way where we could get information out to the masses. But certainly, joining 20 groups is a step in the right direction if you're looking for more of a data-centric decision making in your dealership.
Agreed. We definitely see the value of those 20 groups. And I got to just say, when you're talking about that, I'm going to tell dealers or remind them, there are 2 checks that you need to write if those invoices are on your desk. One is for your state association. You got to write that check. You got to get registered for this conference in June. Make sure you're there at Vegas to add your voice and come by and say hi to Jim and Michelle. We're going to be in there broadcasting.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. We're not
Absolutely.
so we're
Hey,
just
Shameless to come talk to us.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, really, everybody's going to be there, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know Jim and Michelle are going to be there, but frankly, I think the way that sentence ends is everybody's going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just dealers, just get your customers to pay in advance for that week so you can afford to be gone for that whole time. And so it's all good. I just think there's a ton of stuff going on in the buy here, pay here space. We know that you coming from Texas, you had a lot of your membership there was very much in buy here, pay here. And so you know that space well. We're thrilled to see you step into the leadership chair over there, and we're happy to support you at every turn. And you know, Gordy already knows that, and a lot of the folks on the board know that. We're happy to lean in and help wherever we can, do some good. So.
Yeah, we certainly appreciate that. And you guys have always done a phenomenal job, not only providing information, but also representing the industry as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
We expect to continue to do that.
We absolutely do. And we were chatting last night. We do that a lot because, we live work.
Yeah.
But we were chatting last night, and, one of the words that came up was what Jim already said, which is reassurance. That one of the things that we really feel compelled to share is just this feeling of reassurance. It's okay that whatever the challenges are, they're you can survive them. You can get past them. And then we were also thinking about the whole agnostic thing that we have really at our heart and our core, the dealer's best interest. And I know you do too. It's the dealer. And part of that agnostic thing is, and we just feel really grateful for the trust people listening and all of that, is that if we can't help, we will send you where you can help. And we're going to give you all the places where you can go to get help. And even if we can help, we're going to say there are other options too. Mm-hmm. And so I love that NIADA does that. It's about bringing everybody together. It's like, these are all the things, these are all the places you can go. And I'm really grateful that at least the two of us in our own way that we're looking at our impact on the industry is that, we're stepping forward to be that agnostic voice that is really, really, it's all about the dealer. It's all about the dealer improving that experience.
Yep. I totally agree with you, Michelle.
That's who we show up to try to, 3 mornings a week. We've been doing it now for a year. I think we crossed 150 episodes now. So
yeah. And we have not missed a day. We've not missed a day. So it's so many people were like,
150 episodes, Jeff, and I think there were 3 or 4 of them that had some pretty good content. There were 3 or 4 episodes that were pretty useful. So
they were the ones that I wasn't there.
That's a strong percentage, though.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah. Not to get too far off topic here, but so when I was in college, I worked in radio, and I had a very, very short. It was about a 2-hour time during lunch, and I will tell you, when you first come out of the gate, you've got all kind of things to talk about and all kind of things to share. And then I found out about after a week and a half, I was like, I'm kind of out of things to talk about at this point. And so it's kudos to you guys. That's a lot of work, and certainly having the number of listeners and followers that you have, that helps, because that creates content then for you to be able to continue to talk about it.
Yeah.
And really in this industry, there is a lot of content and there is a lot to talk about, but kudos to you guys for keeping it going.
Thank you. Yeah, one of the things we have going for us is Facebook. There's always something on Facebook that buy here, pay here dealers are out there talking about.
That's worth talking about.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a divide there on that topic. Yeah. Let's tackle that one. Yeah.
I'd like to go back to NIADA, the conference. Let's do it. Our keynote speaker. How the heck did that happen?
Yeah,
Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah.
Yeah, Sugar Ray Leonard. How awesome is that? We're obviously excited that Sugar Ray Leonard is going to be the keynote speaker. But one of the things that really spoke to us, and we were out looking for keynote speakers this year, is we had talked about some adversity. Certainly we kind of, hopefully we've got COVID kind of in the rearview mirror, but now we've got this interest rate issue coming up. We're still in kind of a quandary with supply chain, and cars are so expensive at the auction, and we're hearing all of those things. And so one of the things we were trying to find is, is there someone who could kind of address it, coming over adversity and taking on challenges. And and so when we had an opportunity to look at Sugar Ray Leonard's message, I think it just resonates very well with a lot of where our dealers are at, and not to overuse we're in this thing, for a fight, and not to overuse analogies here, but I think it's a message that a lot of our guys resonate or will resonate with our guys. So we're very excited about his message. And then, obviously we're,
oh yeah.
Does
it date us that we know who Sugar Ray Leonard is,
Well,
though?
I don't know if it dates you or not, but I will tell you, when I told my dad, he was more excited than I anticipated. And I was like, that's, that's
interesting.
Yeah.
I told my 21-year-old daughter, she was not as impressed. But
she's like, "Who's that, Dad?"
Right.
Yeah.
But he's got I think the thing is, Michelle, he's got a great message, and that's what we're really excited.
Oh yeah.
About.
Well, and the demographic of a lot of the dealers is in that era where they are familiar with who he is. It looks like also you're going to be doing service bays in the expo hall. So is this like full functioning service base you're going to have? What is that?
Wow, what a great question. No, it's a little bit of a play on the industry. It's actually education.
Okay.
They're going to be 10 to 15 minute sessions. We're going to offer those in the expo, though, for two reasons. One, we realize that people's learning styles are very different.
Yeah.
And so the sit and get education, while there's a lot of benefit to that, and we're going to have panel discussions, we're going to have Q&A. The service bays are really meant to be a smaller, bite-sized education. And it's going to be primarily our associate members talking about new products, new services. You'll get an opportunity to go hear that in the expo. If you want to discuss it more with them, you can certainly go back over to their booth. And some of that also is just to kind of, we want to keep the excitement level up in the expo. We're going to have over 200 exhibitors this year. We're very excited about I talk with dealers all the time about coming to conventions, and one of the advantages I feel like you have is the exhibit hall. There's so many experts in that area, so take advantage of the number of associate members we're going to have there. And let's say, for example, you're thinking about, a new dealer management software. Well, if you set up meetings with every dealer management software company that we're going to have there on your own, at your business, it would take significantly more time than what you can knock out in one expo. So I always encourage dealers, use that to your advantage. Identify 2-3 key areas in your operation that you want to go talk to some people about. Identify where they're at in that expo, put together a game plan, and go spend, whether it's 10 or 15 minutes with each one of them talking about their product and their service. There's no better opportunity to do that. And frankly, it'll pay for your convention if you map it out that way.
And I always say too about those vendors, and DMS is good examples. Like we recommend that people talk to providers where we know the people behind the product. So, that exhibit hall, they get a chance to know the people. It's one thing to jump on a demo and see that, from your desk back at the dealership, but actually meet the people behind the product is worth something.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. And this business is not a lot different than other businesses. It's a people business. And if you have something that's not working the way or not meeting your expectations, if you can call over to that company and you have a name that you can ask for, that goes a long way.
Yeah.
So like previous years, there is an app that can be downloaded for convention, and I'm going to make an assumption that in the app it's going to show you where specific vendors are that you might be looking for, so you can see that, and it'll probably also say what's going to be what times and what topics for the service bays.
Right. It will. Yes. Yep, you're exactly right. That'll be in the app, as well as, the education. There's an opportunity to survey sessions. And then I think when you sign up, it will also send updates if there are any updates that we need to send. The app is definitely the place to be. I just a few years ago was able to get away from the on-site, the physical on-site program and move to my phone. And man, once you make that transition, you can never go back to, you can never go back to wondering where you left your on-site program, because that was me. I was strong. Yeah, I was strong on like day 1 with the on-site program, but by day 2, I had no idea where it was at.
Yeah.
So
But
we're going to be
I
there
very
with,
rarely lose that phone.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
we will be there with our microphones. We look forward to
Yes.
reaching out to all the folks who can come to the microphones and talk to us about the buy here, pay here business at the NIADA convention.
Absolutely. And Jeff, we invite you, you know, we're going to be, after June, we're going to be kind of switching the updates to quarterly. We invite you to come anytime you want to outside of that and just come and talk to us. You're such an asset to this industry, and we love having you. We really appreciate you and your heart that you bring to what you did in Texas and what you're now doing in NIADA. Thank you.
Well, thank you both. Number one, for having me. Thank you for that offer. Yeah, I'm always excited to get on here and have an opportunity to talk directly to dealers. Obviously, I like it when they can talk back, because I think the biggest part of my responsibility is not to be talking at dealers, but to be listening to dealers. And I'm looking forward to doing that at the convention for sure.
We can help with that. So that's all good stuff.
Do you have a minute to stick around for just a second after we close the show, so we can just have a quick chat? We like to do just a formal.
The post wrap up.
He knows the drill. Yeah.
They call it a post-mortem.
Yeah.
What did we do well?
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you guys I'll talk to y'all in just a second. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Well, we're excited it's not that many weeks away. And so if you haven't already registered, until May 15th, which is next week, it's $4.95 for members to register for, Accelerate 2023.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's the name of the event. And we're looking forward to seeing you all there, and hope that y'all, swing by and say hi and
find us.
Yeah, and we will be broadcasting, I'm pretty sure, Monday and Wednesday at the convention. They're setting up an area just for podcasters. So we're thinking that we will, but as we get more information, we'll let you all know. So if that'll be at 8 a.m. In Nevada. So, we can set up some chairs. People can come and watch live if they want to.
Bring your coffee.
Bring your coffee.
Yeah.
All righty.
So also I got to say, we're speaking on 22nd, the last day. So please come and join that session.
Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us today. It is Friday. Go out and enjoy the rest of your day and have a great weekend. And we will see you on Cinco de Mayo. We'll talk to you later. Thanks, guys.